My name is Garren. I'm an Air Force veteran from back in the 80s. I was a crew chief on C-5s and 141s, got injured, got out, went to work for corporate America for a short time, and realized because of my service-connected disabilities, I couldn't do that any longer, so I went to work, went back to school and went to work as a legal advocate for vets, and retired from there and had a passion to continue to serve my brothers and sisters, and we formed AVET Project, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, with about 7 core programs and a host of ancillary ones just to help meet the needs of our brothers and sisters in arms. And we have a radio program, as you probably heard me plug shamelessly. And we're just here to really provide any type of service or assistance we can to those that are interested and those that have a need, whether it's a family member or a past or present military member. And that's enough from me. Raul.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Raul Santana, and I am an Air Force veteran. I did 26 years in the Air Force, so I had a lot of good time. And my entire life also was air crew, so I did 26 years of flying, over 10,000 hours of flying, and I wanted to thank her for all the aircraft maintenance people and officers, what they did in the 26, I forgot how many touch and goes and landings. But I only had 2 IFEs, that's an in-flight emergency. So I felt safe anytime I got on the military airplanes, more than I do when I go on the commercial ones. I retired out of Andrews Air Force Base, and I am fortunate to fly President Bush. Before I retired, I did 5 years as an Air Force One crew member. I was on the famous mission when he went into Iraq on that Thanksgiving Day. While we were there, my wife was crazy looking for me, and I was flying in and out of Iraq before she found out, and then she was happy when she did hear that that's what I was doing. So she thought I was out partying, but I was out supporting the president. So it was one of the greatest missions I could think back on, President Bush coming up and thanking us all. It was like a 33-hour day from the time we left on Wednesday to the time we got back Friday morning. So it was an awesome experience, and President Bush and his staff thanked us all. I retired in 2006 and moved down here from the DC area to be close to family. And it was a big challenge moving down here. Not knowing anybody, not networking, being a veteran. Took a while before I got my foot wet and learned what I needed to do. And it was with the help of Brevard Workforce, helping me with my resume, helping me network, helping me targeting, helping me with my interviewing skills. And so me as a veterans rep now, helping veterans, helping the spouses of veterans, or helping anybody, what needs to be done is my goal and my mission, and that's what I love doing. And I think that's what all of us are here now today, is helping veterans, helping the family of veterans. So right now, like I said, I'm going to go into this. I'm a veteran. I work for Brevard Workforce. I'm a veterans rep there in the Rockledge office. My primary duties is to meet employers and advocate for veterans. And at the same time, while I'm in the office, I schedule appointment with veterans and help them overcome any barriers or any challenges. And if they don't have any challenges, work on their resumes, interviewing skills, you name it, I try my best to do it. The veteran program mission, again, that's our mission, is to promote and maximize the employment of Florida veterans. We do that all kinds of ways. We have a staff of 10 veterans in Brevard County, 4 in Palm Bay, 4 in Rockledge, and 2 in Titusville. And that's what our main goal is, to help veterans overcome any barriers, any challenges that they may have. Priority of service. Again, what do we do? When they first come in, we identify if they're a veteran. We'd like them to come in with their DD-214. And the term veteran, again, is anybody who's served at least 1 day in active duty in the military, naval, air service, Coast Guard. That's what is called identifying a veteran, priority of service.
And I'm going to interrupt because Raul and I have decided we're going to tag team y'all.
Yep.
We're going to try and provide you info and entertainment at the same time. Show of hands, how many veterans in the crowd today? Impressive.
4.
Thank you all. Now, for those that aren't veterans, show of hands. Now, everybody in the room knows a veteran.
That's right.
That's the whole idea, 38 USC, Section 1012.
To receive service at the Brevard Workforce, there's a Wagner-Pizer, Congress came up with that they had to at least serve 180 days to get that priority of service. It doesn't matter to us. Again, we want to help veterans. They just don't get some privileges of moving up to the head of the line or anything like that. But they come in and we help them just like anybody else we help. Spouses are also considered veterans if their husband was captured, died, and served with disability related to their service, or where's the other one? Or they're missing in action. So again, sometimes we have a few spouses that we're working with that their husband has died due to the disabilities during their service.
Or the veteran's 100% permanently and totally disabled, then the spouse is going to be eligible for that.
Correct. Thank you. And priority service, again, what we talk about is they come in. We have a lot of workshops available to veterans, and we save seats for them just in case they want to attend it. We do case management. We identify their barriers, anything like that. So a veteran comes into the office, somebody's going to jump to help that veteran. Sometimes, again, we do have some people who get priority of service and veterans preference. That's two different things. There is a difference. Priority of service, again, us helping a veteran who has at least served 180 days primarily. Again, I still help any veteran that comes through the office. Veterans preference deals with hiring a veteran. I also go out and talk to employers and push for employers to hire a veteran. I tell you the value of hiring a veteran, the attributes they bring to the team, and it's almost like she says, following orders or getting the work done without any issues or any complaints. So it's a challenge there getting them new employers to understand that, but they do understand. Veterans program eligibility, again, that's what we do as leavers and DVOPs at the centers. We help veterans. Okay, the initial intake, or once a veteran comes on, we try to do a full assessment of all their needs, all their education, all their goals, what they want to do, where they want to go. We take that information and we help them. We help them build on that. And we also turn around, there's a lot of veterans out there that, what we say, the intensive care, or they don't need intensive care, they can see a staffing specialist, but that's even hard for them to do. A veteran comes into the office, they want to speak to another veteran. So it's tough to them say, oh, you can see anybody. I try to introduce them to other staff members, or you could talk to this. Because we're surprised how many veterans work at these work centers. In my center alone, there's at least 10 to 15 veterans in the work center. They might just be a regular staffing specialty, not a veterans rep, but they understand the needs. Florida Veterans Employment Program, again, we fall under the DEO, the Department of Labor. We have leavers, local veterans employment representatives, and then I said the DVOPs, Disabled Veterans Outreach Programs. The Veterans Outreach Programs, they go out and search for veterans that may need help. We set up at the libraries. We go to homeless shelters. We do stand-downs with the community, with the NVAs and all these outreach programs to help get the veterans, help them get out, help them overcome any barrier, get them back employed. Again, that's the definition of what a veteran does, Disabled Veteran Outreach Program. Again, we go out, like I said, my veterans are out today, the DVOPs, he goes to the libraries, he goes to homeless shelters. We bring computers there, help them with their computer needs, and help them get on the jobs, help them get a resume together. We work with the community. We work with AVET. We work with the vet centers. We work with homeless shelters. But we do all we can to get out there and help veterans and get them back employed and overcome any barriers. Leaver, I am a leaver, local veterans employment representative. My main goal is to advocate the hiring of veterans. We conduct workshops. We just recently, Brevard County is looking to hire, they want a grant to hire 33 firefighters. We held a recruiting event 3 days in 3 weeks, and we got over 175 veterans to come into the office to meet the firefighters. And right now they're in the process of going through, over 400 people applied, 175 came through our office, and they're gonna look at all the veterans. Some of them weren't veterans, but they're gonna look at all the people that applied, let them take the aptitude test. So it was a great success story. They were impressed with the little bit of time. They won the grant. They had to get this done within weeks. And we got over 400 people to apply. Over 175 were veterans. And some came down all the way from North Carolina. We offer a lot of activities at the Work Center. We offer a federal hiring workshop. We offer resume classes. We offer interview classes. Again, all things to help veterans. I work in contact the Chambers of Commerce. I work with them also to help people help learn what's happening in the community. We're at the Eastern College. They're doing a job fair. We'll support that. We'll send people to all these events that's happening throughout Brevard County.
Raul, that third one down, back one. Contact employers, develop employment opportunities. I know for a fact there are employers, local employers in this crowd right now that have utilized Brevard Workforce to bring people on board. Can you talk about that?
Yes, we work with employers, and they come and they'll tell us what they need. They tell us their needs. They give us a list. We publish that job order, and we have it down as their requirements. We also let it know their vet preference. We turn around and go into our database and search for veterans who meet their qualifications. We call them up. We let them know that, hey, there's an employer that's looking. You meet a lot of their requirements. And we'll ask, hey, do you want to get submit your name, refer them. We call it referrals. We'll refer them. We'll tell them what they need to do next, email the employer, go visit the employer in person. And it's been working out great. So the vet preference is there. There's employers that have the vet preference. We work with employers that like that, and we help them with their needs. Thank you. Again, some other areas that we work, we do mass recruiting. Like I said, we did that for the Brevard County Fire Department. Again, additional other programs that we help. We have resource centers. We have a resource guide. A veteran comes in and they're having trouble with financial or with homeless. We have resource guide that we could turn around and go to and say, okay, you need to call this person, contact this person, call this person, you need to do it now. And sometimes we'll do that for them right there and say, hey, we have a veteran that needs help. Right now I'm working with a veteran who transitioned from Jacksonville Naval Air Station down here, who the Family Support Center up there called me and said, hey, they're having problems, reach out to them. And we did, and right now we're trying to help them out. Okay, marketing plans, awareness of employers. Again, just like we're saying, businesses helping veterans or veterans who want to start their own business. We offer workshop at all three centers called Biz Launch, how to start your business. We get them in contact with the small business development team here. So we offer workshops as people come to these workshops that are employers to help these people understand what it is to run a business. All right. Remember, Veterans Priority Service is everyone's responsibility. And again, we take that to heart. Any questions? Go ahead, sir.
My name is Justin Killam. I was just fortunate to start working at a company called eMeredith, who publishes veteranownedbusiness.com. And I just wanted to, first of all, thank you, because I'm actually using coordinated through Brevard Workforce, the on-the-job training program. Brian St. Hour is the president, also a naval veteran. Recognize my qualities as a service member, as well as combining my degree, realizing it was a worthy investment to, say, polish me up for your program while using your program. And I was wondering if maybe you can explain that a little bit further for the employers in the room.
Yep. We offer, they come, if a veteran's here, he's not working, and usually somebody's not working or have some challenges, we offer what we call an OJT program that will pay the employer, or we'll pay the veteran's salary 50%. So if he's making $20 an hour, we'll pay $10, and the employer would pay the other $10.
Did y'all hear that? Can you repeat that? That's
Yes.
pretty impressive.
So yes, 50%. It'll be only for 6 months, but it's documented training. So say he sees somebody he likes, and they don't have all the qualifications. They want to do an OJT with them. We would turn in. Let's develop a training plan that we'll monitor monthly, make sure he's progressing, and we'll pay half the salary. And we offer that also. You know, we get with the veterans that come in if they want to go back to school. If they don't have their post 9/11, we see if VREP will work for them if they qualify for VREP. And if not, we'll see if WIA, Workforce Investment Act, see if they'll qualify for that and get them training that they may need. Yes, ma'am.
What is VRAP?
Vocational Rehabilitation or Apprentice Program, I think it is. It's a program that the VA has for veterans that are 35 to 60 years old. They have to fall in that area. They don't have post 9/11. They can go 1 year of school. Hopefully they can finish their degree or get a certificate or thing like that. It is dedicated to certain jobs. You have to meet one of the hot jobs criteria that they have on their list.
Is there a deadline on that?
There is. I want to say it's June 30th. October? They moved it?
October 1st.
Of this year? Because it's good for 1 year, though. That's why. So I thought it was till June of next year. I'll double check that, but okay. So they had a short time to get into it. Hopefully they extend it. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Hi, my name is Travis Mack, the president and CEO of Select Solutions Incorporated. We're a West Coast-based company from Southern California, and we've just relocated a regional headquarters to this area. How would you recommend that a new company to this area that does engineering services, IT support services, or Department of Defense integrate with the Brevard workforce? We can do the same things out in Ventura County, which is where our headquarters is, but we're establishing out here, so we're trying to.
Again, Brevard Workforce, we don't charge employers. Any employee that comes to us, there's no fee. We're doing recruiting events. Right now, we're working with Bass Pro Shop doing a recruiting event. Again, we did the Brevard County recruiting event. We got a lot of recruiting events coming up now during the holidays for businesses just to hire temp workers during the holidays. So where's your office at?
It's
In Rockledge? Well, come by. I'll give you my business card. Come by the office and we could do something. That's awesome that you're here in Rockledge. I live in Rockledge, so I like to see business come here.
2 months. We've been here for 2 months.
All right, great. Go ahead, sir.
What can I do with a Vietnam vet that's an alcoholic, can't drive, lived in the woods behind Office Depot on the O'Galley Causeway until a recent development in there and they tore up all the woods? Where do I send this guy?
We'll let Paula, one of my DevOps here.
Thank you. Actually, if you contact the VA to the homeless housing, there are 2 people that work in that. There's actually some housing in Cocoa that cater to drug or alcohol use veterans that are having a hard time either finding a place to live, finding work, and actually getting back into society and functioning well. So I can give you their contacts.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost, this guy works for different lawn crews and construction companies. And I use the term loosely, but it's almost like he's enslaved. He gets paid for the day, and then he goes in the woods and sleeps. And then, if somebody comes by and honks the horn, he'll work that day. And now he doesn't have a place to live. And I was at the Office Depot in that shopping center and saw him. So, my heart goes out to these people. He's a Vietnam vet. I'm a Vietnam era vet. You just want him to be able to get cleaned up and have a life, and he has no life. I mean,
Where does he live? He's in Cocoa?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know because, do you know the shopping center I'm talking about? It's like the old Publix on the O'Galley Causeway.
Yes.
The new Publix is across the street. And so they cleared that area. If you didn't know it, there was a homeless camp behind there, and they just cleared it.
If you direct him, or anybody in here wants to direct a homeless veteran, whether they have their DD-214 proof of service or not, the resource coordinator out at the VA in Viera, 637-3788, will get them plugged into some community service, whether it's the Fee Street Transition Home here in Melbourne, the Grissom Park for women veterans with children. There are resources, but they have to be willing. And some of them do have strict criteria that they can't engage in, behaviors like alcohol and what have you. But that would be a first place to start, I would think.
Yes. Thanks. You're welcome, sir. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Raul. Thank you for your service, brother. 26 years flying the president around. I never got to do that. And I was a crew chief on C5s. All we did was haul garbage here, there, and everywhere.
I did C5 time. I have C5 time.
So like I said, we're partners. We're here to share some information. I've got a PowerPoint too, and I'll fly through some of the slides, but I just want to share real quick a couple things. I asked how many vets were in the crowd, and pretty much everybody raised their hands. Of those that raised their hands, how many have service-connected disability or know what that term means? Okay, not as many hands. I just want to cover this real quick. If you were in service, it's a three-pronged process. Let's say something happened to you. You were perfectly healthy before you went into the military, and maybe you were painting your house on a ladder and fell. You weren't drinking, so there's no line of duty determination saying it was willful misconduct, but you broke your leg. Now, we know that a broken leg will heal, but guess what? It leaves x-ray evidence that there was an injury. Even that, as acute and transitory, 6 months you're healed, as that is, you have potential for service-connected disability benefit. Not compensation, but benefit, because they'll probably rate it 0% since it probably won't have any lasting effect. If you developed arthritis in that particular break later on down the road, maybe so. What I'm trying to say, something happened to you in service, it's bothering you now, and there's a logical connection or nexus between the two. In other words, even if you left service, whether you did 4 years or 26 or more, and all of a sudden you find yourself taking pills for hypertension when you're leaving out the door, you've got a service-connected disability claim because you didn't take that hypertension med before you went in. The reason I mention that about how important it is to have service-connected disability compensation is, thank you, is it is a step, and a lot of you are either employers or working with employers or employee-related interests. The certification to become a service-disabled veteran-owned business, and the VA does this so that you can participate in these set-asides, whether it's 3%, the number varies. It's a process, and I've heard good and bad. The idea is the federal government and even some states like California, DVBE, Disabled Veterans Business Enterprise, Florida has a similar situation here, certifies that you are the primary owner, the 51% shareholder in the company, and therefore opens the door. And we talked about opening doors quite a bit earlier today. And what it does is enable you a little step up. You still have to be competitive, but they're going to look to you first to fill whatever needs they have, okay? You got to watch for those open doors. And I'm going to just fly through some slides here. There's the old AVET project. It's an acronym for American Veterans Empowerment Team. We're an all-volunteer 501c3 nonprofit incorporated here in Florida. Charity registrations here, Oregon, California, and Texas. We're most busy here, but we also have an incredible program going up in Oregon where one young man who is now an Eagle Scout, him with some help, has shipped over 20,000 pounds of our care packages to troops in combat, forward deployed combat zones. American Warrior Radio, I mentioned that. Please tune in because it's all about us. It's all about military and veterans issues. We have an interesting guest. We've been vetted from the highest levels of the DOD to the VA. Another retired Air Force guy and myself are there every Saturday from 11 to noon, and we're always looking for interesting guests, people that have stories to tell. Stu with Citrus Solutions is going to be one. Brian's been on with SCIS. Brian Jaskowitz has been on. We welcome the opportunity. We're hoping to have Jim on. He's got an interesting story. Getting the word out. We have a regular segment, Bosun's Call from the Coast Guard, sharing information with the general population that never hears what's going on. And soon, we're going to have the 920th Rescue Wing's runway report coming with us, talking about what's going out there on Patrick Air Force Base. This is an important part. You know, we're talking about our warriors coming back and trying to reintegrate back into civilian life. AVET Project, one of our core programs, Project Recuperation, Reintegration. And folks, I'm not giving you a sales pitch. I'm trying to tell you how desperate the need is, not just to find employment for our warriors, but to help them as they step out of their uniform and into civilian clothes. There's precious little resources available for them regarding that transition. PRNR is a program that offers them information about how to approach the VA, what to do to get involved and get enrolled in health care, whether it's an education benefit. It's a very comprehensive program, and we accomplish it in a short amount of time, 3 days, 2 nights. We have an event coming up. It's always been land-based, either here or in our Oregon location, but we're going to hit a cruise. So if anybody wants to go to the high seas with us over to the Bahamas, November 14th through 17th, we've already got the Warriors scheduled. The PR&R retreat is filled, both men and women, but the cruise is open to anybody for really great rates. Reserve Major, that runs a travel agency, put that together. This is a slide that talks about that. We've all heard about the backlog in the VA. Listen, I got my feet wet at the lowest level representing vets as a legal advocate, a non-attorney practitioner, and I can attest that that is an accurate picture of what a lot of these regional offices, there's 57 of them around the country, look like, okay? This is no joke. You've seen it on the news and TV. I worked from that level all the way up to the Board of Veterans Appeals, where I became a national appeals officer representing vets against the VA, and a large portion of my job, large portion of my time was spent educating, and I'm no brain, I'm smart, but I'm no brain. I was educating the VA on their own law so that they could write lawful and not arbitrary and capricious, but follow the law and make the decision that's appropriate for the veteran. Not everybody is going to get what they want, but if they qualify and they're eligible, they should get it. I just want to shoot some numbers out. Look at this. It says total civilian population in Florida, nearly 15 million. The number's been brought up about veterans. We've got, 1.6 million veterans in Florida. Now this, and I just looked these numbers up the other night, Bureau of Labor Statistics. Veterans unemployment rate, 12.6%. I'm also deputy director with the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs Foundation, which is the nonprofit arm. I can attest that number is not accurate, because I just heard from the colonel that runs the FDVA, the 715th MP company, which a lot of folks here, I'm looking at one in particular, has helped, AVET Project helped them. They have a 40% unemployment rate. They've been deployed 3 times to Afghanistan. They come back here and they can't get jobs. And I know Raul sees and counsels these people. We go there as often as we can to, we're not going to solve every problem, but at least we can give them hope and direct them not to some nebulous resource, but an actual tangible resource that's going to get them some action. Because I can tell you the 12.6 rate, the overall total for non-veterans is higher than veterans. But that's what they're reporting out there right now on the net. Raul showed you a slide about these. There's a lot of information here. The one I'm most interested in, and I'll step back for those who can't see, vocational rehabilitation and employment, VR&E. It used to be based, it was a program based on, hey, if you qualify, in other words, if you have a service-connected disability, what we talked about, and you're not using your GI Bill, I was in from 80 to 87. I had nothing. I had VEAP, Veterans Education Assistance Program. I had to pay in $2 and they'd contribute $1. It was bogus. So I had no education program. And unfortunately, I got injured on the flight line during Operation Urgent Fury. That ended up qualifying me to apply for voc rehab once I separated service, which was awesome because that put me through school. But the idea back then was, yeah, we'll get you a degree. Now they've switched gears. Now they're more interested in finding employment for the veterans that qualify for this program. And the benchmark is kind of 20% disabled. Kind of familiar with the percentages, everybody? I think you all are, especially if you have a service-connected disability percentage. 10% is actually the minimum qualifier. If you've got especially in today's economy where so many people are struggling, we've got active duty troops right now on Patrick and out at the Cape that are on food stamps. It's unconscionable to me. But if you're a veteran and you're not having success in the workplace and you're having to go on food stamps or some other public assistance, but you only have a dime, you only have a 10%, maybe it was a sore knee or a locking knee, didn't require a lot, but it's 10% through the VA. You can still qualify for vocational rehabilitation and employment. And that's a program where they're going to try and channel you what your interests and aptitudes are into something that will get you gainfully employed. With that, I want to stop for a second and grab a note that I have here. The VRNE, Vocational Rehabilitation and Employment Program through the VA, does a lot more than that, though. Under M28 Part 4, Section C, Chapter 8, blah, blah, blah. It also offers assistance, and I think a lot of these folks that have been talking about self-employment opportunities will find this interesting. This is deep in the weeds of the VA. Now listen, you can go to va.gov and find anything you want, if you can find it. It's like swimming through a sea. You may eventually get there. This here is right in the depths of all of it, and it talks about how the VA has a program. If you have a veteran or know a veteran, maybe they're a fellow churchgoer or a coworker, whatever, that are interested in self-employment. And I'm going to just use an example. A young man, separated service, had a combat deployment, by the way, wanted to open a food truck business. Well, guess what? He went and got his food truck. He did it all on his own, and I'm really proud of him. And he's actually going to participate in the Tech Sergeant Cleveland benefit at the Tides this Saturday. He's got a food truck. You know, he's a hard-working young man. He's got vigor and vitality, and he really wants to make it work. Well, guess what? If anybody, and he's got a 30% disability rating, he would have qualified for voc rehab. This right here wouldn't have bought him his food truck, but it would have bought him anything and everything he needed, including saleable merchandise to put in his food truck. It would have given him the stove, the refrigerator, the tutelage. I mean, whatever he needed outside of a few things, the restrictions on it, lease or rental payments, purchase of rental cars, trucks, or vehicles, stocking or either farm or animal husbandry operations or a fishery. Outside of those three, and that's it. That's the law right there. They're going to do a whole lot for that vet. Nobody ever told him. He didn't know. So he went and spent his own money. Do you know, he wasn't crushed because he's just got so much energy anyway. When I told him that, he was a little upset that nobody took the time to say, hey, you're 30%, you could go through voc rehab if that's your plan, you develop a business plan, because Rob and his staff, and I know Raul, that stuff can come together, working with voc rehab. These programs are there and they need to be utilized, and they're way underutilized, okay? So I just had to share that with you real quick because that's out there and it needs to be done. That's that voc rehab business. Flying through this. Vow to Hire Heroes Act, okay? This has been in the news. I think it's one of those things that has been promoted as, hey, we're out there helping the veterans. Is it working? Is it working?
Yeah, I believe it's working. I think they're out there and they're trying to help as much as they can.
Okay, here's some of the specifics on it. I mean, there's major tax credits, okay? Tax credit up to $9,600 for hiring a vet with a service-connected disability. Any employer should be interested in that. I mean, that's a big leg up. You're not going to get that from hiring, you know, Joe or Sally off the street, but if they're a veteran, the government's going to get behind it. Flipping through here, eligible new hires, okay, just giving you some information. I'm going to blow through a lot of this stuff here because I know you don't want to sit here and read the slide with me. Never really liked it. Oh, I want to talk about VRAP, Veterans Readjustment Assistance, Retraining Assistance Program, VRAP, Veterans Retraining Assistance Program. They opened it up, 35 to 60. You could not have eligibility for any other kind of VA program, whether it was a GI Bill, voc rehab, any of that stuff. But if you fell in that category, which my generation is, 35 to 60, where nothing else was available unless you qualified for voc rehab, then you couldn't do this. But if you had nothing else available, finally the government said, you know what? We need to help these guys and gals. This is an awesome program. As Raul said, it gives a year of training towards a certificate. Maybe it's a trade school, maybe it's finishing up a degree, whatever it might be. It's pretty special stuff. Look at the numbers. They received 140,000 applications. They approved nearly 122,000 of them. Enrolled in training? Half, 66. You know why? Too many barriers. The guys and gals that signed up said, yeah, finally, I get a little piece of the pie. I get a little leg up. And that's all they're asking for. Problem is, when they get involved in it, then they find out all these restrictions. Well, you have to get into this program. You have to meet this work schedule. You have to complete it within a certain period of time. The delimiting date was October 1st. If it's changed, thank God. I don't know. I'm operating off of what I know, which was October 1st. Applications had to be in by October 1st, this coming up. So if you know anybody in that category, 35 to 60, no other opportunities through the VA, they can still get an application in and work towards that, but it has to happen by October 1st. We talk about this kind of stuff on American Warrior Radio, but the problem is, and hopefully like you said, they will extend it and broaden it so that it's more useful. Why have a program and then put so many restrictions? It's like our warriors over on the front lines right now. The rules of engagement are such that they've got their hands tied behind their back. The enemy literally has to lift the the rifle barrel to them before they can take action. That's what's happening with programs like this. Good intentions, okay, just like the soldier, don't kill anybody if you don't have to. But the idea is you got to have the follow through. You got to give them the bullets, and that's real important to me. This kind of stuff here I'm going to fly through because it is important, okay? If AVET Project had the money, I would have burned a bunch of copies because you could have flipped through this stuff. It's pretty quick and easy. It's steps to consider when hiring veterans, okay? Become familiar with veterans' benefits, which is what Raul and I are trying to educate you a little bit about on. Create a welcoming environment. I think this is important because keep in mind all of our returning combat vets or veterans otherwise, any veteran, we're mostly vets in this room, so we know what this is. It's not necessarily easy to make that transition from military to civilian life. As an employer or somebody that's helping employers get veterans employed, it's kind of good that they become familiar with some of the vets. I'm not telling anybody in this room, I'm preaching to the choir, but the general public and the hirers, the HR departments, should have an understanding of this. Enlisted personnel, NCOs, warrant officers, commissioned officers, because they bring different levels of skill with them. And you know, it's super important because just like EmployFlorida.com, I told you I was a deputy director with Florida Veterans Foundation. It's a great resource. Again, it's only a resource. They have to work it, just like nobody's going to get anywhere unless they come and see Raul. You know, you got to make the effort. Just like you were asking, sir, about how you can help that person, they've got to be willing to help themselves. One small step anybody can take right now is to refer a veteran that's looking for work to EmployFlorida.com. EmployFlorida.com. There's a veterans portal there. And this is the cool thing. That's whatever that is. Here's the cool thing. You can insert your MOS, your occupational specialty, or your AFSC, your Air Force Specialty Code, and it will convert it into really what the marketplace out there is looking for, okay? The general talked about, you know, bomb loaders and this and that. Well, maybe that won't convert so much, but maybe it'll correlate to loading freight with the FedEx. Who knows? You got to try it out. That's the cool thing about that. But becoming familiar and acquainted as employers or folks encouraging people to hire vets, they need to know a little bit about that. Actively recruit vets. Again, this is all good stuff, but I'm just going to scoot through it here. Hire qualified vets. You know, things to consider when you're looking to hire a vet. And I could go on forever and ever about why you should hire a vet, and a lot of us already know that. Helpful tools at your fingertips. Again, I'm just going to breeze through this. Social networking. I have to talk about this real quick because any business that's successful now is out there in cyberspace, has a presence in social media. It can't be overstated. AVET Project would have half the volunteers we have now if it wasn't for social media and our reliance on getting the word out that way. So it's super important. And don't forget, thank a vet. I got a lot more, but that's enough for now. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, crickets. Oh, that's cool. Then I can talk more. Yes, sir.
If people will email me, can I send them your PowerPoint presentation?
Yes.
Of course. Are we out of time anyway? Awesome. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.